Firstly, thank you so much for joining me for my How to Create an Online Store from Your Kitchen Table. I'm absolutely pumped that you've taken time out of your busy schedules and that you're here. So it might sound really obvious, but if you really want to get the most from today's session, please switch off all possible distractions, close your browsers, turn off Netflix, grab a notebook and pour yourself a nice cuppa, as we're going to be covering a lot. And so, here's the thing. I respect your time and my own time, so we're just going to dive straight into the good stuff rather than the high-level fluff that a lot of other webinars give because at the end of the day, I want this to be super valuable for you. So I hope that that's okay with you. So who is this for? So can you guys do me a favor and put in the chat box, are you looking to earn a living from your skills and expertise, but just don't know how to get started? Let me start off by saying that this is definitely for you. If you're sick of working for the man and know there must be an easier way rather than commuting and slogging, well, this is also for you. If you want a business that will actually work for you so you don't feel the burden of returning to work in the traditional sense and actually work for you financially, then this is also totally for you. Basically, this is for anybody who wants to make a living from their expertise or passion. So in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to cover how you can get an online store up and running, my top tips for online success, and stick around as there'll be live Q&A at the end and the opportunity to ask any questions, so stay tuned. And if you feel like you want to ask a question during the presentation, just pop it in the chat box and I will cover it all at the very end. So I need to be upfront and just let you know that unlike other webinars, there is nothing for sale here, but I have a very cool gift for you. So hang tight until the end. It's very exciting and worth hanging around for. I'm all about serving my clients, and today's masterclass really is no different. So first up, let's dive in. I want to ask you, does this sound like you? You would love to have your own online store. You love potentially making your own stuff and dreaming of having a lovely little Etsy or eBay or even website. Or are you a stay-at-home mum looking to do something that you love and can get paid for? In other words, perhaps you've always wanted to turn your passion into a viable business, but you're just not sure how to go about it. Or are you in that quandary of starting to think about returning to work, but cringe at the thought of negotiating part-time hours with your boss and it all just seems too much to bear? Or does this sound like you? You've dabbled in an online store and made a little bit of money, but not much. Perhaps you've opened an eBay store and sold a few things and always felt it was not really going places. It's super common when you're just starting out and can be incredibly overwhelming and disheartening when it's just not set up correctly. Or are you just not enjoying your career anymore? Have you reached a point that you're questioning everything and just not sure if it's really for you anymore? You'd love to start your own online store and get paid to do something you love. Ultimately, it's time to do something for you. I hear this so much. Perhaps you've tried to launch an eBay or Etsy store and you could never really get all the moving parts to flow, getting the branding and the positioning correct, making the website look professional and convert and function properly. And then there's pushing sales. With sales slow and you go all week without selling anything at all. Don't worry, this is common in business when it's not set up correctly. Or did you just have a hard time with other part of the business, sourcing reliable and trustworthy suppliers that produced ultimately quality products? When it comes to sourcing overseas manufacturers, one of the biggest hurdles is the language barrier with suppliers, which can have a huge impact on business and waste a lot of time and money. And once you've sorted out your supply issues, have you had problems with choosing the right products and most popular products that will sell out? You may have found yourself in a position where you have too much stock of the kind that nobody wants. It's a really big problem. Then there's just feeling overwhelmed by it all, especially having to run the household and juggle the family. I definitely hear you. Do you secretly wonder how all the other mums do it? those working part-times, the drop-offs, the pickups, running the household and juggling work in between all of that. But you know that it is possible. You want to know how people can buy from you and what their secret is. I know for me, commuting an hour on the bus to the city while juggling drop-offs at my local kindy put an enormous amount of strain on our family. The morning was a pure rush. I'd feel guilty putting the kids in daycare so much. And I'd often wonder, what am I doing this for? Surely there must be an easier way. I know I've sat there wondering how both parents can manage it all while earning a living, paying for daycare fees. You know, is it even viable? Especially here in Sydney or across the board in Australia, daycare is very, very expensive. So by the time you go back to work and start, earning some sort of part-time income, it's just eaten up by daycare fees and you're away from your children. But you have that niggling voice in your head knowing that you need to contribute to the family financially. I know for me, living in Sydney, one of the most expensive cities in the world, I have a mortgage. I need to earn an income. But I also need to be around the children while they're young. It's a pretty difficult position to be in because I've totally been there. Please know it does not happen overnight. Don't believe your news feeds with instant success stories. It just doesn't happen that way. I've been designing and developing websites and working in e-commerce for almost 7 years now. And I'm the result of trialing, testing, and optimizing what works and simply what doesn't. So what I'm going to share with you today is how easy it is to achieve recurring income in your sleep with my top methods on setting up an online store the right way. Don't be put off by feeling as though you are not experienced or capable. Anyone can do this. You don't need to have a university business degree or hands-on experience with digital marketing or even traditional marketing. As long as you have Wi-Fi and a laptop or computer and a positive attitude, really, anyone can kiss the 9-to-5 grind goodbye, I promise. I know because as a mum of 3, I have tried, tested and failed and succeeded, so you can learn from my mistakes. I love that. I simply know what does and doesn't work through trial and error. And do you feel that no matter, how hard you work at your job, there's an invisible cap on your income? So your part-time wage will only take you so far. And then you realize you're only making the company that you work for richer. It's very frustrating and internally eats away at you, knowing that there has to be an easier way. And if anything, it's a little bit soul-destroying that your efforts and talents could go a lot further if you had your own successful business. That you get what you put in and that working smarter, not harder in business can go to extraordinary places. So the good news is none of these problems are actually your real issues. Yes, that's right. The real issue is that you haven't made the transition. Instead, you're stuck in a cycle of poor pay, more work, and can't find your way out. Does that sound familiar? And once you've actually made the transition, everything will fit into place. You won't need to slave away at a corporate job you know deep down isn't for you. You won't need to get depressed over your paycheck versus output and finally do something you love that's just for you. I'm here to tell you it really is possible to live ultimately the life that you've always dreamt of and to wake up with orders streaming into your website. To have the flexibility to spend your days as you please while earning a really comfortable income. To feel good about work, finally, and not have to sacrifice your time with your children or your family. Or to be told to sit in an office cubicle for 8 hours a day, complying to a boss's rules. Have you ever asked yourself what is stopping you from running your own show? Once you do master these things, it's possible to have the very best of both worlds, to bring in a consistently good income, one that supersedes your normal job, and have a career that you're passionate about and one you feel proud of. You'll have the strategies to serve your customers the way that works for both them and your business. You'll realize the invisible ceiling was never really there to begin with. and you'll have the flexibility and freedom to spend the days as you choose. You know, why be chained to a cubicle? It makes absolutely no sense. The one thing that you need to know is that you can work less, get paid way more, and still have the lifestyle around your children. Here I am in sunny Hamilton Island in Australia, holidaying comfortably with my family. No bosses to put in annual leave for, a business that brings in recurring income while I sleep over and over again, and even have the downtime with the family and feel good about that. Ultimately, what I've narrowed it down to is that there are 3 key elements to having the life you've always wanted and the business that you've always wanted. What we're going to cover is the domains you must own, the right website platform to be on, very big topic, and how to source suppliers for your stock, reliable, trustworthy, and, you know, your go-to suppliers that you order from over and over again at a really cost-effective price. But first, let's take a step back through my journey for a moment. Things haven't always been roses. I first started when my baby girl was born primming. This is her and I in the hospital when she was just a couple of hours old. It was a huge shock for me that she was born at 30 weeks. I was on a ferry and my waters broke. As you can imagine, it was long days in the hospital. And as she was a well baby, but needed to grow, there was a lot of time to think. I planned on going back to work after 6 months, but her early arrival meant I simply could not return to work in a traditional sense. But as soon as I realised that all I needed was a laptop, Wi-Fi, and willingness to knuckle down and learn, after all, I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur, as all my family were, Petite Bamboo was born, my online business. I sourced suppliers, I put together a website, and I had the saying in my head, build it and they will come. But I started to get frustrated with the lack of sales and spent more time on the phone to BigCommerce getting my website right than marketing my business. Something had to give. So I started to learn WordPress, build my own website, and learn every online strategy there was. Every day while India slept, I watched every digital marketing video I could find. I'd sign up to every online e-course around, and I'd soak up as much as I could. I'd soak up just as much as I could while she slept. To be honest, I am completely self-taught. What you may or may not know is that I learned from YouTube, experts in the industry, and I had a total thirst for knowledge. Much like yourself today, I attended every online live webinar that I could get my hands on. I learned from those who carved the path before me rather than reinventing the wheel. And I got really big results. I got 20,000 real and engaged Facebook fans. I'm not into buying Facebook fans or on Instagram. I find that spammy and non-genuine. I'm all about real and authentic. And I started to make sales and sell out of my products. I couldn't have been happier. When I got pregnant with my third, I decided to pick up a full-time job that I loved while juggling my side gig. The full-time job was an offer too good to refuse, and I thought I could run my side gig basically on the side. But I truly wondered how I was going to return to work in a full-time capacity now as a mother of 3. My world pretty much fell apart when I was 8 months pregnant. My world pretty much fell apart when I was fired from that job. I remember sitting on the steps of my house crying to my husband. So many thoughts plagued me. How will I contribute to the mortgage? I love working. It's my passion. But my third about to be born and 2 already in daycare, the thought of commuting or paying daycare fees really had me in a spin. I was relying on going back to work in a part-time capacity, and even that was hard to imagine. And you might be able to relate to this. What if I'm still breastfeeding? When is the right time to go back to work? I don't want to work in an office and be away from my baby. But we live in Sydney and it's so expensive and I must earn an income. My husband's income is simply not enough. But really, if you look back, this was my ultimate chance to help others, tap into my talent, and really give my bamboo baby business a red hot go. It was now or never. My brother always used to say to me, and still does to this day, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. And now I truly believe him. So I went on to push my petite bamboo business even harder and lift my game. And I started my own web design business, which became an absolute roaring success. I really learned everything there is to know about mastering the art of Facebook advertising and AdWords, and I reinvested everything back into the business and really pumped those sales. I worked on making that side hustle, or what I thought was a side hustle, into something very real. This is one of my bamboo wraps that I designed and developed myself with an overseas manufacturer. I made sure professional photography was a big priority for me, and I really marketed properly, and I ended up replacing my part-time income and then some. And my success became very real for me. I knew I was meant to lose that job that I really thought was for me at the time. You know, the universe had just certainly delivered. And, you know, some things really do happen for a reason. I could enjoy my new baby and be there for kinder graduation and to duck down to do reading at the school if I wanted to. The choice was ultimately mine. I learned so much from my online business that I had the skills required, plus I could fill a gap with local WordPress developers in my area. I picked up my first client, which through a referral led to my second and my third, and soon enough I was booked out until Christmas, just like Susan from Kinesiology Effect. She got some really big results. More visitors led to more clients, and her ROI was absolutely huge. Susan saw a 500% increase in sales, and really, those figures are very conservative. That's a little quote from her. Since redesigning my website, I've seen a huge growth in traffic leads and inquiries. I'm so happy I decided to take the leap and invest the time. Very grateful for that comment. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, when I was fired from my job, I could have searched high and low for a part-time job, but would it have made me happy to be away from my babies? Probably not. I knew there had to be an easy way to bring in an income into the family, and a reoccurring income. And really, I'm just a mum of three with no formal digital marketing training. I am self-taught and have grown to a six-figure business over the past 7 years. And trust me, it's so much easier than you may think. The thing is, I've researched, tried, and tested so many options, and my methods work. And really, I always like to choose the simplest path. Let me walk you through it. Online success really comes down to getting it right from the start. No more fumbling around trying to get it off the ground. With the right branding, shipping carrier, newsletter integration, and the website, both in aesthetics and functionality. There are so many moving parts. So let's dive in. So what are we going to be covering today is what domains that you need to purchase and how many, what website platform you should launch your online store on, and how to source suppliers for your stock. We're also going to be covering how to get recurring income working for you in your business. So the domains, you can actually be determined by what domains are currently available. I'd start by brainstorming a list of short names for your business and then jumping on to crazydomains.com.au or your local domain provider and seeing what's available. I'd always recommend purchasing the .com.au and the .com, and if both aren't available, consider adding a dash in between the word if it's taken. So, for example, my business is called businessboxed.com.au and only business-boxed.com was available. So I purchased the dash in between. And that's not ideal, but you can keep abreast of when the domain will, expires, and so you might be able to buy it off the original domain owner. If the ones you're after are free, I definitely recommend purchasing them straight away. It will cost you around $25 for 2 years and are worth their weight in gold if they are good domains. Also consider keyword-rich domains. For example, if I wanted to open a bamboo baby clothing store and wanted to name my business Bamboo Babies and the domain was available, it gives you a head start to ranking your business at the top of Google, as bamboo and babies are very relevant to your actual business. I've always purchased my domains from Crazy Domains as it's a quick and easy way to search and buy online. Once you get the fundamental base, it can really be amazing, and you don't need a very large budget. Take Irene from Nourish Life. I have to start by saying I'm not affiliated with Nourish Life in any way, shape or form, but I find her story very inspirational. She started with a small budget of $100. She bought 100 lip balms, and she used to pick and pack orders with her mum and drag them to the post office each and every day. Today, her beauty and lifestyle business is set to turn over $40 million. Can you believe it? She only employs mums to offer other mums that kind of flexibility because she gets the mum work-life balance and how hard it is to get right. What we'll cover next is the right platform to be on. I've used self-hosted platforms like Shopify and Squarespace in the past, but the problem is that you could spend a lot of time and money building an online store on these platforms and you never really own them. That's right, it's essentially rented space, as you're paying a premium for the privilege and bound by their terms. These platforms are also limited in what you can do. I've been a web designer for 7 years and I always recommend WordPress as it's powerful for ranking at the top of Google and wide in capabilities and perfect to start your online store on. So once you've decided to go with WordPress, you simply need to purchase hosting, which if you're not familiar with what that is, it's where on the internet your website lives. Your hosting provider will take care of ensuring your website loads and often houses your emails too. I recommend SiteGround for hosting. I always refer my clients there, mainly because it's affordable, it's as low as $4.95 a month, and it's a reliable host. They also have a great site speed feature, which is pretty cool. So once you've purchased your domains, you simply purchase hosting through SiteGround, and then it's time to install WordPress. This will give you a blank WordPress ready to begin designing your website and a CMS, a content management system, where you update content on the back end. There are two types of WordPress you can install. One is self-hosted, and one is the commercial version, where you purchase your own hosting and is preferable, as there is scope to do so much more, which is WordPress.org. Most hosting providers will have a one-click WordPress installation, which is perfect for WordPress that you need. So next up, how to source suppliers, massive topic. In my experience, you can go down three paths. When you're starting out, you can test the market and either purchase quantities in bulk at a reduced rate and sell through your online store, or you can dropship. For those unfamiliar with dropshipping, this works by online purchasing what you sell. For example, I used to dropship with my very first online baby store called Max and Ollie. Someone will come onto my website, buy a, say, baby sleeping bag in their baby size, and then I would put through an order through my dropship supplier. They'd invoice me, and then they would directly ship the item to my customer. This means no holding stock in a warehouse or at your home, and is hugely convenient. But dropshipping means the cost per unit is often higher, so you just need to know your numbers and ensure your price is still competitive. And this will come down to creating a spreadsheet and knowing your numbers. If it's one takeaway that you can take away from this live masterclass, is that you really need to understand your numbers, because you need to understand your margin, how much an item costs to purchase. So if you're purchasing in bulk, divide it by the number of quantities, and that's your purchase price. And then you need to take into consideration shipping. So if you're not actually doing drop shipping, and you'll have shipping costs to take into consideration. If it's coming from overseas, either by air freight or sea freight, there's some pretty big shipping costs. So you just need to know, it's all a bit of a juggle at the start, but you just need to know your numbers. So I'd often write down my, cost per unit, my drop shipping costs, and drop shipping, it can be quite high, but if you're selling in volume, it can really work for you. And then your shipping costs, And then your advertising costs. So if you go through Facebook advertising or, Google AdWords or Instagram marketing, however you advertise, you might want to consider adding those costs on too. So you know your bottom line. You know that per item, you have a look on your spreadsheet, it's going to cost you X amount. So you can also approach wholesalers directly and ask for their lookbook. For example, when I had my first online store, Max Nolly, I'd reach out to established brands such as Aiden and Nay and ask for their wholesale rates for bulk purchases and then on sale on my website. So really, this is instant recurring income that often give you a recommended retail price so you can know your numbers and then scale. At the beginning, it's all about testing your products to see what products sell, what don't, and then variations such as sizing, style, color, pattern, price compared with popularity, and what pairs with the rest of your store and creates a consistent, strong brand. So it's all about testing the market. The beauty of this is when you get it right, you can potentially make money in your sleep. And then the third option is designing your own clothing label, which is what I did with Petite Bamboo, my online store. So for example, if I wanted to design, say, a pretty little dress, I would send my supplier a dress with an enormous list of garment changes. Longer length, longer arms, bamboo material with a touch of stretch, red in color, buttons down the front. I'd write down these changes on a spreadsheet so it was really clear. And then I'd work with a local textile designer who was really affordable, very easy to work with, and who'll walk you through the process. The agent that I work with really helped me to understand the process, what to expect, how many quantities to order, how to test the market, and the quality of fabric to choose. And really, the agent I knew really guides you on all aspects of designing your own label. The designer himself means he knows the process front and back, which was a saving grace for newbies like me. So once I decided on the final design, I then had to decide on quantities and chosen styles. So I chose 2 baby cardigans, 2 bamboo wraps, 2 baby pants, and 2 cute little tops. I ordered 200 quantities of each to test the market, and I put the order through. And although taking this path sounds a bit scary, it's really not. All you need to do is pick and choose. Be patient with all the samples and refining the garment. And overall, it was really just so much fun. I mean, you too could design your very own clothing label. Imagine that. Having my own children's label meant it was completely bespoke to me and my brand, and opened up another revenue stream by on-selling my products wholesale to retail stores. And really, the sky's the limit. So let's talk about recurring income for a moment. And let's unpack this. Once you set up your online store with inventory and tracking, imagine waking up to orders and watching your bank balance rise. It means you spend the time setting up, then reap the rewards of recurring income. Imagine not holding any stock at all, but spending your time setting up drop shipping images and descriptions, then selling these without ever having to hold inventory. It's a very smart growth tactic and means you can scale quite quickly. It's important to remember that once you have supply agreements in place to drop ship, the sky's the limit in terms of earning capacity. Now, the fastest way to get traffic to your site is through Facebook advertising. It can be quite cost effective starting off with as little as $5 per day, and you can track their conversions through Facebook's ads manager. When I first had my Petite Bamboo online store, I remember waking up in the hospital just after I'd had Finn, and I'd monitor the sales through Ads Manager and feel so proud of myself that I'd set up my campaign correctly, sales were streaming through, and I could sit back and relax. So you can also earn revenue through affiliate marketing. Once you get enough traffic to your site, you can add affiliate banners and sponsored posts, very subtly done, and earn money through click-throughs. The trick is to do industry-relevant ads and to not overwhelm your website to encourage users to click off your site. So there's a little bit of an art to getting it right, but can be hugely lucrative. And then there's also wholesaling. So, that's another revenue stream. If you have your own brand, you can create a lookbook and then send this lookbook to potential other online retail stores or bricks and mortar stores that's displaying the wholesale costs. And, you want to put a lot of work into your lookbook to just ensure that the cost per unit is attractive enough to your potential customer, so those retail stores. And it can mean that you can expand a lot quicker. And wholesaling also means that you're getting more exposure because, as you can imagine, your products are going out to potentially thousands and thousands of stores. So that's, whilst creating your own product might be more, sort of hard work in the beginning, it's really not, too difficult. And once you do, it can be hugely lucrative. So, when all of this is done well, when your online store is set up properly, you can wake up to 20 plus orders today. You can set goals and work towards those goals. You can trial new products and designs and really test to see what's working and what doesn't. And, the misconception or the myth about online stores is that it's really only selling products online, but there's huge potential for multiple revenue streams. So obviously we've talked about wholesaling, affiliate marketing. You could also have an online shop that sells digital downloads. So, once you familiarize yourself with the process of, say, drop shipping or how to set up how to design your own label, you could have a download that teaches others how to do it and then work on a sales funnel. So really, or you could sell that, say that ebook at a price through your store. So I have also 2 shipping carriers that I strongly recommend. So shipping is another challenging component, but here are 2 that I recommend. So Sendle, it's a courier that offers flat rates, comes to your door to pick up your parcel, and they have a really good support network if anything goes wrong. So if you're like me and you pride yourself on customer service, which means not letting your customers down and delivering on time, you really want to have reliable carriers. And it must also be financially viable, and the rates mustn't eat into your profit margin. So Sendle rates are really competitive, so definitely worth checking out. Ego, e-go.com.au is another favourite of mine. So I love them. You simply buy a $50 platinum voucher, which gives you discounted shipping rates, sometimes as low as $4 in the local metro area. Then you package up your item, go onto Ego's website and enter in your shipping details. Pop it on your front doorstep and they collect it and deliver it to your customer. So these are all ways that you can really start to automate things. No more dragging parcels to the post office and eating into your very valuable time. So having a courier service that comes to your door is even better. So I'd just like to go over some case studies of some of my previous clients and just have a look at where they are now. So this is Milk Bar Breast Pumps, our client Diane. I set up a complete online store for her, including hospital-grade breast pumps, mainly because I could see a bit of a gap in the market. And, there didn't seem to, when I had my premier girl born at 30 weeks, there didn't seem to be access to hospital-grade breast pumps at arm's reach. So I thought a really good opportunity or a really good gap in the market would be hospital-grade breast pumps and all different types. Diana, since, from what was a little online store, she's grew it into one of the leading market players in her industry. So this is Petite Bamboo that I mentioned. I was scrolling through my newsfeed and I saw Petite Bamboo, who the owner had taken the brand internationally. She'd improved on the range and added to the range altogether. She'd added cute packaging and she'd actually taken it to certain expos and internationally. So I was hugely chuffed. I mean, the owner was looking for a bespoke brand that it was, a label she could create herself and a great additive to her existing business. And she's really seen huge growth. And so why would you go down this path? You really want to invest in yourself, earn an income while staying home with the kids, and save time by having a done for you package. You really, in this day and age, you just can't afford to have a shoddy website. A poor design reflects badly on your brand. Being at the mercy of your designer means 8 weeks of no sales. Calls to action that lead to nowhere means you're missing out on sales. And a website with no strategy or clear message is doing your business a disservice. And if you're anything like me, time is so very precious. No more trying to figure out how to get your website to convert. So what I would recommend is definitely invest in mentoring. Everyone should have a business mentor for support to keep you accountable and motivated, and to ensure that you show up just like you guys have here today and keep putting those ideas into action. My next top tip is to outsource everything. So this is a big one. Let the experts who have carved the path before you do it for you. Save yourself time and money. I think there's a false economy out there that, to get a business set up correctly or a website will cost you 20, 30,000. But really, it just doesn't. And there's much more cost-effective options. And think of your time and what your time is worth. Think of fumbling in the dark, trying to get it right yourself. And it's important to automate your business from the start. It's a myth that you can't automate every aspect of your business. It really needs to be put on autopilot to make the most of your time. So let's recap now. Today I promise how to get started with your very own online store, some of the key fundamentals of how to get started, how to create automated income on repeat, how to source suppliers, and even create your very own product or clothing label. So what you need to win to finally move from the side hustle to full-time lifestyle business, you must follow my key steps: picking the right domains, sourcing the right suppliers, investing in a mentor, definitely choose WordPress, and outsource everything. So now you have a choice. You know why you came on the webinar. You came here for a reason. I think personally it's because you're not happy with what you're contributing to the family, or that your side gig is going nowhere. You don't want life to tick you by and stay stuck and go nowhere. Or if you want this year to be the year that you have a lifestyle business, or one which affords you a consistent, recurring income and passion, knowing you're making a difference with your business, then here is what I have for you. I've set aside some time over the next week to speak to you personally about how you can start your very own online store today. If this is something you want to do, I can walk you through it and look at where you're at and how I can help. So the cost is totally free, but here's the catch: it is not for everybody. So who is this for? This is definitely for action takers and for those who are committed to reaching their income goals. Can you see yourself opening an online store? We always look for people with drive and determination. So why am I doing this? On our call together, I'll get you clear on where you are, where you want to be, and the exact steps you should take to reach this goal. If you want my help and you think it's a really good fit, we may invite you to be one of our clients for this month. If we work together, we'll show you how we can achieve those results that I've mentioned here. So spaces are very, very limited, so sign up now. All you need to do is go to www.businessboxed.com.au/apply-now. So I'll pop the link in the chat box so that you guys have this here. businessbox.com.au, apply now, and then we'll get into the live Q&A. So I hope you guys can see that now. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions here. Hi, Teresa. So you've started a business and need the help and ideas to get an online store up and running. I have plenty of ideas for you. Why don't you put yourself on? Why don't you book a call with me and we can definitely go over that with you. Hi, Elise. Should we trademark the name as well? I definitely would recommend you trademarking your business. I've definitely trademarked mine. I've actually trademarked both my business package's name and also my business. So it just protects you if somebody else was going to use your name or, because your name is definitely your IP and the reputation of your business. So it's not expensive to add a trademark and it's very beneficial. So Sarah, you've got a good question there. How much would you have to spend on Facebook ads to get 20 orders? So that's a really good question. I mean, ultimately what happens with Facebook ads is that you need to invest in, a daily ad spend. So I used to spend about $5-10 a day. And the return on investment was absolutely huge because I would be able to have, 20 plus orders. Some days I would wake up to 40 orders, 50. It was, once you get it right, you have to know your target audience. You have to know how to set up the Facebook ads correctly. And you have to do so much testing and optimizing. If an ad's not working, then you ditch it and you add a new ad. If the image isn't working, if the copy's not converting, if the audience, it's really, you spend the time testing and optimizing and then you scale. So that's really how you do it. And so you've got a question, can I ask why you would sell a retail business that was going so well? So it was an online retail store. And at the time, my web design business, I had so many clients. So I was juggling around 20, 22 clients, sometimes 25 clients. And the websites I could build quite quickly, but I found that I didn't have time to actually focus on the business and set it up and really how to scale it. I just didn't have time to invest in the business. So I really wanted to hand that business over to another like-minded mum. And I did so. I took the leap and I sold it. So the new owner is doing extraordinarily well. I still get pangs when I see the brand in my newsfeed because, there's the logo that I designed myself, the range that was my ideas. And, so I still get sad thinking about it, but I know the new business is in good hands. So Lisa, is it difficult to set up a WordPress site as a store? I currently run a small baby clothing boutique on Big Cartel. And obviously it is a super day platform to use. However, I'm interested in having a go at WordPress, just unsure on costs and how difficult it is set up for sales. Look, it can be quite difficult if you don't know what you're doing yourself, but I definitely would invite you to, I would definitely like to invite you to come on a call with me, and I would love to undo that and definitely, jump onto businessbox.com.au/apply now. And, we can have a chat through it and I can have a look at your options. So I think that's really about it. So Siobhan, freelancing, wanting to add a soft income via online shop. You definitely can. Siobhan, I would definitely like to invite you onto a call as well and discuss some of those options. But once it's set up correctly, the business kind of works for you. So really, but it has to be set up correctly. I know that for me personally, I spend so much time setting it up and, a lot of trial and errors and going through the process. So, it can be really difficult. But definitely come on to businessbox.com.au/apply now. And we can have a chat and see if I can help and see where you're at. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I've absolutely loved my time with you here now. And yeah, please come on to businessbox.com.au/apply now. And we can go from there, and we can, schedule in a time. They are very limited, but I would love to have a chat with you and see how I can help. Thanks, guys.